Welcome back everyone. This will be my Nautilus jungle video, and Nautilus jungle recently got buffed. In my opinion, I don't think he's that bad. I do think he's quite hard to understand. There's a lot of specific mechanics that you need to know. Also for itemization, it's really important to build good items on him. For rune setup, this is the page you should run. You can also go legend, haste plus triumph if you like that. For abilities, you want to max your E first, then Q or W next. For blue, jungle item is just the best, and also itemization is essential. So what I've been experimenting, I played so many games already, and in my opinion, Liandry's is the best item. You can also go Heartsteel if you prefer, but what I like to do is go Liandry's into Riftmaker and also just get a lot of AP through those HP stacking items. I just think it's really important. That's what I feel like is really good. For pathing, start red, blue, or raptors. You want to start E level 1, and you want to make sure your E is actually getting Riptide's most damage output. So your E can actually hit 3 times. So you can see 206 pretty much means we hit it 3 times. And here, when you're doing red, you just want to go to the crowd camp here, press E, and then just walk away. And you always want to kind of pull camps when you're playing Nautilus jungle. It just speeds up your clear by a lot. And the mechanic thing I was talking about, if you want to be really good on this champion, you have to understand how his E can do 3 points of damage. And to get that, you just have to kind of cast it at max range of auto attack. And what I mean by that is, so the way it works is if you stand on something and you're face to face attack range, your E is only going to hit once. So if you want to get more value, what you need to do is actually kind of sidestep and kite backwards, and that's something we're going to be doing a lot in this clear. So watch how I kind of move backwards a bit whenever I cast my E. This way you're able to get 3 ticks instead of 1 tick. But you can also get, majority of the time you're going to end up getting 2 ticks, which is fine. You just don't want to be getting 1 tick of damage with your E. So if I stand right on top of the wall, if I press E, it's only going to damage it once. But if I do this movement command, it's going to hit it 2 to 3 times. There is 3 times. So you can see the value is really, really high. So I just want you all to remember that. That's the most important thing when you're practicing his clear, is to just pretty much do that exact thing and your clear will go up very quickly. So that's 2 ticks. We can do better than that, right? So here, you can actually save your smite by just walking, putting yourself right in the middle position right there, and then you're just able to kind of get the next camp. So here you're pathing. If you want to be fast, you can just save your smite. If you want to be fast, you can smite here, or you can save it. Up to you. It really doesn't matter. Your E pretty much kills it right after with your 2 points in Q. This clear should be a lot faster, but I was kind of like trying to talk a lot in my opinion to teach you guys a bit more. So enemy bot lane looks like they're walking up on this wave. I do want to look for a gank if there's any pressure on them. If not, then I'm just going to kind of walk up here. So here I see Alistar. We're going to go for the hook right away on Alistar. We're not trying to do anything too crazy. We're just going for the kill on the easy target, the support. Hit the hook, hit the auto attack, hit the E. And you can also maximize your damage a lot when you're playing him by just using your hook and then waiting a second and then E in right after. It's kind of like an interesting mechanic where your Riptides will get multiple hits even on champions. So that is something you want to remember. So Kiana actually is basing right now, but she's a bit late, so we're able to kind of steal her raptors. And that's the benefit of Nautilus jungle. You're really fast at, clearing these sort of AoE camps and also just stealing raptor camps from unsuspecting people. So here we can actually go for the gank. But if she's walking up, we can just leave as well. I'm just trying to get out of this area because I've already stolen Kiana's camp. And I want to have a really good base timer here. And by doing this, I'm going to have a very nice base timer. So here we can actually go in. There I flashed because I was afraid I was actually going to get bursted down there, but honestly with the Janna there, I don't think they could have killed me. So the flash is a bit overly scared. But overall, really good play for us, so I'm happy about that. Even if Janna wasn't coming, I mean, you can see the Nautilus. Nautilus is really strong at level 4-5. Even on your first buy, you're going to be really strong compared to other people. Over time, 1v1s become much harder. So early game, don't be afraid. With Aftershock, proccing, you're really tanky. The problem is damage. With this champion, the same issue I have every time I play him is just having damage is where I feel like it's really hard. And you have to play around people who have damage in your team. This game, we're going to be playing in Diamond Masters MMR. And for itemization, haunting guys is really, usually I just go for, you know, components like this and then like maybe a dark. So I've been messing around with a tier build too. I think tier is actually really good on him. If you feel like you run out of mana, I've been building a tier in some games where I go into Winter's Approach, the tank item second. I also like that build if you want to go more of a shield build, which can be very broken. I've been doing that with my WMAX second, and it felt pretty good in a lot of games. So that's like Liandry's into Winter's Approach, which is also a build. But if you want a pure raw heavy damage build, you got to go into the Riftmaker second. And then afterwards, you can also go Bloodletter's Curse. For MR item, Abyssal Mass just seems to be the best if you need MR. This game, I don't really actually need MR. I'll probably end up going for an armor item, and the best armor item is usually Frozen Heart. So I'll probably end up going for Frozen Heart this game. Frozen Heart is really good for the ability haste, and it's something you kind of have to, you know, you kind of need ability haste on this champion. So here, then me and go in here. If Dinah goes in, I can easily, you know, go in for the kill as well. Oh my god, this Silas. Well done. Piano's probably already on Crab. Crab's probably dead, but I'll check it anyways. But the Kiana was in a very dire position, so I'm happy to capitalize on that. Or obviously the go-to ability, you hit your ultimate, you can hit the hook right after. That's the pretty generic combo. That's something you're going to see me noticing going for a lot. And if I can hit the hook, you just right click and auto attack them. It will apply your passive, which is the root effect, which is going to keep people in place, and you just CC them to death, right? What you bring is this insane amount of crowd control that, you know, it really is broken, but then it's like, what about the damage? So the damage is where you're going to be lacking. That's also why we go for the Liandry's build path. Liandry's is going to give us a really good build, which is going to give us a lot of damage. And I like to take it one step further by going into the Riftmaker. I didn't really talk about your W ability. Your W, you just press it whenever before you go in. It just gives you a shield that also applies like an attack debuff that like bleeds your target. It lasts a very long time, but if it breaks, you pretty much lose the debuff. So you can see that, you know, the breaking part is a problem. Here, I don't know if I have the damage to kill him, but that can be annoying a bit. What I need is the tower shot to kind of go in here. And I don't actually have the mana to fight there, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to base. Warwick, when he's low, he does more damage to the target, and he can just heal a lot off his abilities. And Nautilus, surprisingly, you do have relatively a high amount of mana problems, is what I noticed. With free boots, I just like free boots because I really don't like investing my money into like boot items, so I try to go for the free boots component. And I go into like my Liandry's. Sometimes if you want to rush boots, surprisingly, I find what's it called, Swifties to be really good. Ability haste boots are okay. Usually you want to go for like armor MR as well if it's a really, you know, tanky team comp. And here, they're probably going to end up getting the grubs just because my bot lane, my top lane is getting a little bit destroyed. He's actually 2 and 4. So if the enemy team is going to get the grubs, you don't really have to worry that much. You just have to make sure you go and get the dragon whenever you can. You do dragon really fast because you're E, and also you can see we can just keep practicing. How do we get our E to do as much damage as possible, right? We talked about 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 ticks. Dragon's a good way to practice, right? Dragon is not going to move that much, so if you press E, you can get 2 ticks. So we get 2 ticks because we're at max attack range. Every time you're at max attack range, you're going to get 2 ticks. But if you want to get 3 ticks, what you have to do is slightly go behind max attack range. So here, you can see it's still 2 ticks. A bit tricky to always get it. It's something you want to practice. There is 3, 526. That's 3 ticks of your E, right? So I just moved slightly out of attack range. You can potentially do it. That's 450. It's not perfect. That's why I say 3 is a bit tricky. Your goal is always 2. The focus is 2. 3 is, you know, it's something to work on. You'll get better at that. Here, I'm just going to ward and see if her Krugs are up yet. I'm not going to fight just because it's going to be a bit tricky to fight here. But I will look into her jungle camps to kind of see her timer. You want to play around damage. Like we've talked about so many times. It's all about playing around damage. Warding around. Here you have your Rude. It's quite fast. The war coming pretty much eliminates our chance to make a play there. I think he's dead though, unfortunately. The Warwick is the problem champion for us early on. Later on, it's not going to be a problem because we're going to go Frozen Heart. Pretty much now is going on. It's looking like a Frozen Heart game. Even though they don't have the most auto-based champions, I just think Frozen Heart really feels good. Or sorry, not now, but usually Frozen Heart feels really good for your armor item that you can either build second or third. I could technically build it this game right now, but I do want to do the Riftmaker because I really do like having Riftmaker second. Just gives you that extra damage that you really, in my opinion, really lack. And from here, you see I can use my hook to help me travel around the map faster. Whenever you hit a wall or terrain with your hook, it actually refunds half the mana and also puts it on a cooldown. So you're able to kind of get that value. I really do think we can kill. I think now would be the time. But he kind of showed really too early. Beautifully done. You want to take the kills because you are Gigatrad. You must endure. You need to get your item spikes, which are really important. The Riftmaker buy, very important as well. Them getting first tower, I mean, there's not much we can do about it. And there is the trick. So when you hit a hook, you can actually hit your E pretty much at any point. And like we talked about, do we want to get the 1 proc of it or do we want to get the 2 proc of it? Damn, if I played a bit further, I could have got more off that. We talked about, do we want to get the 2 proc? Do we want to get the 1 proc? Stuff like that. Which is very important. I could get Warwick here, so I have to run away. Oof, I got that damage off. My E casted, but it didn't actually go off, unfortunately. I think Silas could kill her if she's probably on that camp right now. For boots, I mean, this is looking like an armor boots game. Swifties I do like as well. But you can just kind of see it. It is looking like an armor boots game. Just buy your tier 2 boots whenever you can, you know, find the time for it. And from here, just make sure you play really around your farm, right? The farm is the most important thing for your game plan. It's just essential. It's very important. And your W, it does apply a decent amount of damage as well. So if your shield doesn't instantly break, which is, you know, early game, it's probably going to break quite often. So you hear, that is the mechanic I want you guys to practice on. When I hit the Q, I don't E right as the hook hits. You actually, if you do that E, you're only going to get 1 tick. So we want to get 2 ticks. So the way to get 2 ticks is actually to wait a bit longer. This guy needs to wait for me. He does not have the damage to kill. Yana was full initiating, full clearing, so she should be. The thing about Warwick is he life steals a lot, but he can only do it if he can auto attack. So I can just hook him, I can ulti him, I can CC him. It affects him a lot. So my champion really good against champs like the dog. And yeah, the Riptide effect, you know, we're just pretty much spamming it. It's our main damage ability as well. Hook max second just feels really good because in fights, this is your main ability to really gap close and cause a lot of problems. Your hook is like really long cooldown. You're going to struggle a lot to be impactful. The one thing I feel issues with when I play Nautilus jungle especially is his mana problem. So when you're not in the jungle or in the river, what you're going to notice is actually exactly that, is you're going to have a lot of mana problems. And that's something you don't really want to have. Damn it, I almost had more. I almost had more there. So close yet so far. And the Riftmaker is coming up hot, so we're going to itemize for that right now. Lucian's going to die to Silas. That's not really a big deal. He just has to Protobelt in. Dragon is up. I do want to get Dragon. Set being here was actually quite pointless. I don't know where this guy came from. But I do want to get the Dragon. I need to do Riftmaker to get that item. You can also go into the Bloodletter's Curse as well if you want a second item. I usually like to go into this one or this one as my second, and then I get like tanky after that. I find that to pretty much give me... That gives you as much damage as you pretty much need. And then it makes building tank much more effective. I just find myself like, even as I build like a lot of tanky, I don't really live that long. I need a... Like, I need to be more of a threat. Like, that's what I find with Nautilus. You have to be a bit tanky, but you also have to feel like you're actually killing people. Because if you just let them auto you, un-auto you, you're just gonna slowly be dead. So that's a rule about it. That's how, if you want to make success on Nautilus, you actually have to be a bit of a problem, a bit of a damage dealer. And if people can ignore you, it's always going to be a bit of a issue. I love my team watching. Very, very nicely watching. Helios needs to just auto attack here. A bunch of spectators on my team. It was beautiful to see. But we ended up getting the dragon. I died, unfortunately, but overall, I'm getting close to my item components. I just have to full clear a couple more times. Get my Riftmaker. Probably end up going to the Frozen Heart after that, and we're going to be hard chilling. Frozen Heart's good this game. It's always good to go Frozen Heart if it's a good game for it. If not, you can go Abyssal Mask as well. If it's like AP jungle mid, I would probably go Abyssal Mask afterwards, which is going to end up being what you want to have. Not unless you have a lot of armor. Naturally, you get a lot of armor, but if you have enemy team is really AP heavy, you have to build MR, or they're just going to burst you down really hard. Plus, Abyssal Mask actually amplifies your damage as well. And like we talked about, we want to have items that are going to amplify, you know, just our damage in general, because we don't want to be getting ignored. Being ignored is just the worst feeling, right? You know how it is. Warwick and Kiana bot side. I mean, I can't really fight because they just have numbers, right? Just something that's going to be a problem for us. There's just 4 people in my bot side. Dinah did ulti, and I didn't really lose much. We do want the Riftmaker, so we're going to wait a bit on that. Might even sell my Darksteel just so I can have it now. I mean, they're just like 4 men in my bot side. Janna needs to kind of get over the wall here. An ultimate, ideally. This gives me 90 AP already, which is not bad. Okay, they're styling. I'll take that. Helios got to farm for, and if Helios is dead to work. Overall, though, I mean, I'm in a pretty good spot. I should be able to kill this Lucian here. Okay. The shields, the heals are looking good here. We just have to make sure we get our money, though. The Riftmaker on Silas as well. I mean, the Riftmaker is just a golden item. You just gotta love it. Problem is, if I stay here, I'm gonna just have to deal with this Kiana. So what I'm gonna do is just go around and just take the waves here. And with this build, you're gonna actually do a lot of damage. As long as you're not like getting into bad positions around, you know, potentially away from like the jungle, right? Like the idea is if we fight in the lane, we're actually going to run out of mana really fast. That's something you have to be accounting for because it does happen. It's also why I like to go Winter's Approach sometimes too. Let me make sure I get my red item, my red jungle. Here, just going on Alistar is just really good, really fast. Red buff just constantly applies on him. Then we can do the Otacon, plus I have 2 smite charges. The hook value is just really big. You can see once we get on top of people, it's just really OP. Your value is really in this 2-item spike, right? Like you have a lot of CC, you have a lot of threat. That's like where you want to be. Remember we talked about RE. How many times do we want to hit it? At least 2. So if I stand right here, it's going to do 1, so I have to back up. And it does at least 2. So remember that always kind of thing. Even with champions, you can actually utilize this sort of mechanic to hit 3 times, which will do bonus damage. This will actually do the bonus damage to jungle, to the monsters as well, or to the champions as well. And with the blue buff, you don't really have the mana issues, which is nice. But without the blue, yeah, you might run into the issue with mana. You can see it's just a lot of just me just becoming like a goddamn problem. I like Riftmaker because it actually gives you a lot of healing over time in the fights too. Like a lot of times I'm just getting a bunch of damage off and the Riftmaker is just converting that to like some HP. So the healing of it is really powerful. So I really do like Riftmaker. I find this to be a very strong item on him. And second item is just the fastest point you can get it. And it just gives you enough threat that you're pretty much not going to be ignored. This is like my favorite build, to just get like a 2-item spike and then I get tankier afterwards. You can also go for a third, more Leandries or, you know, Haunting Guise item. You can go into the Bloodletters if you want more HP and damage. It depends if you feel like stacking HP is really good this game. Then your team starts building like some MR. This item has a lot of potential too. It's all about having this good amount of ability haste and survivability with a bit of AP. If you can balance that, you can go into like the more of the tank build, but in my opinion, I really didn't like the tank builds. I feel like going tanks just sucks in this meta, unless you're like a really broken champion. Like if your champion is like a Mundo, yeah, it makes sense. But realistically, as a jungler, tank junglers just don't work that well because you have too much responsibility on yourself to do damage. You can see how fast you clear too. With the Riftmaker, it feels real good. Real nice. From here, I just keep pathing and keep farming. I just look for windows to group up here, and then the engage is just huge, right? The hook hitting is just really big. We just have incredible engage opportunities when we can. I want to base. Obviously, they want to fight, but just let them do what they must. Armor boot's really good here. We talked about it. This game, it looks like a Frozen Heart game, so what we want to do is just actually go into the Frozen Heart. This game would be a Frozen Heart. Abyssal Mass is like your best MR item. And your third last item usually is like, you can go Unending. You like, but I didn't really find Unending to be the best. Usually I go like on my armor item, then I go my MR item. Or I go my MR, then I go my armor. And then I go for like a, you know, Bloodletter's Curse as well if I want more damage. But Unending is not bad too. Later in the game, it just gives you a lot of value as well. My team might need me here, so I'm gonna head on over. I mean, they're trying to show off without me, but like, come on now. Ooh, and it connects. Not even close, baby. You can see the Riftmaker. I wish I could see how much value the Riftmaker gives, but I can just feel the value of the Riftmaker. It just gives you a lot of threat, a lot of power. It makes you really, because you're really about the long fight, right? And this is just good synergy to give you that extra healing, the extra damage. Even though healing reduced when it's AoE, you actually just you do surprisingly a lot of damage. Like the Leandry's procs are actually going to be healing you as well with the Riftmaker vibe. And it's just, it's more so, the way I see it is, it makes you survive more. So it would have been like an armor MR item. Hope you guys liked the video. That's my Nautilus jungle. I'll probably be playing more him in the future. Let me know what you think in the comments. Good luck in the game, good luck in the climb, and I'll see you guys in the next video.